Okay, so I've got a new video for you today. It's an opening and a review, and that is going to be for the movie They Live by John Carpenter. So let's have a little look at this edition and give you my thoughts on the film. Let's get into it. Okay, welcome back to the channel, everyone. So I thought I'd do this video. So They Live. Now, this edition here, I'm doing an opening for you. This is something that I picked up in the last quarter of last year, 2022. And I haven't opened it yet. It's a film that I saw when it first came out, and it didn't do much for me, I'll be honest. But people since have been saying to me, you need to watch it again, you need to watch it again. And thusly, that brings me to now. So this film came out in, what, 1988, 1989, around that sort of an era. What are we, 30-odd years since that now? So I haven't seen this film in that long. And it's a film that I often looked at in CEX to pick up, but it was always quite expensive in the sense that it was 10 quid, which obviously is far cheaper than what this version was. However, I picked this version up off of a seller on eBay, a tad bit cheaper than what it was when it first initially was released. So I thought to myself, okay, I like these editions anyway of this John Carpenter stuff. I'm going to go all in with this one. I'm going to purchase it as this set. I'll take a look at it as you know, from the 4K version and do a review of it. The film might work for me now, it might not 30 years later. I think at the time when I watched it, I was sort of made to watch it by my brothers. How old would I have been in 1988? I'd have been 12 in 88. Now, I don't know if I watched it on a pirate copy, on a rental. I've got no idea, but it would have been around that sort of an era. And like I said, the film didn't particularly work for me. That being said, I don't remember the film very well at all. So I may not have. I don't know. I don't know what was going on back then. Such a long time ago. So I thought, okay, fair dues, I'm going to give the film a watch. Now, I like John Carpenter. I like majority of his movies, and this has a sort of sci-fi alien invasion element to it, so there's no reason why I shouldn't really like this film whatsoever. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go downstairs. I'm going to note down packaging of this release, have a look at it, have a look at its contents, give my appraisal of the actual release itself, and then I'm going to sit down, I'm going to watch the film in its 4K version, and then I'm going to give you my thoughts on the transfer and give you my thoughts on the film itself. Now, I could come back to you and say, I don't like this film at all. The minute I do that, you'll go onto eBay and I'll get my money back, or get majority of my money back, whatever. I don't know how much these sell for now. I've got no idea. But yes, so we're going to do that. So let me adjust the camera so we can take a gander at this release first before that review. So let's do it. Okay, so here we have the release itself. As you can see, They Live, 4K Collector's Edition, 4K UHD, posters, art cards, booklet, and CD soundtrack, plus brand new bonus content. He came here to chew bubblegum and kick ass, but he's all out of bubblegum. I don't think that's a particularly great line, but there we go. So here we have all these sort of specs on the back. As you can see, there's a lot of special features there, which you can take a look at. Yeah, so let's get this one open. Now, I didn't get all of these when they came out, this John Carpenter collection, but I got some of them. I think I got the Fog and the Thing like this. I got the Steelbook for Escape. I don't know why. I think I much prefer these sort of editions to a Steelbook now. But back then I was sort of in the two minds. So there we have it. Let's pull this out and take a look. for a nice sort of box. Not too sturdy though, like the others. There's that sort of cityscape with submit, watch, obey, all that there. Nice sort of black and white kind of aesthetic to it. Let's have a look at that. There we go. That's that. All the stuff's falling out. We'll have a look at that in a minute. Put it over there. So opening it up, we get 4 discs, as you can see. Well, you can't see, but there we go. Disc 1, disc 2. The discs obviously have all the same artwork on. So we have a 4K there, we have a Blu-ray there, we have a special features disc there, and we have a CD soundtrack in that latter spot there. So that's that. And as for what comes with this release, first of all, we get a nice little glossy book that is square bound, and inside that, okay, we've got some text, which is great, even though it's reprintings of magazines from at the time, but that's still good. Yeah, more text there, that's great. And obviously, if you know me, you know I don't like the books that are just photo books. I just think they're a complete lazy waste of time. Bit of a comic book page there. So yeah, so, you know, quite a bit of text really. Be a good read. Find out a bit about the film and the making process, etc. Cast list there. Yeah, so I can't fault that. Nice little book. We are then given a poster, which I appreciate you can't see in its entirety. Well, near enough you can. It's landscape poster, like so. Nothing on the back, it's not double-sided, it's just a single-sided poster. And then we have the art cards here, so let's get those out. I try not to rip the little wrap. No. There we have that one. Like that. That one there. That one there with Meg Foster. And that one there. So 5 art cards, more a matte finish to them, nothing on the backs. There we go. So, yeah, so art cards, poster, booklet. I didn't say the page count. Has it got page number? No. Oh, that was a print from Starlog magazine. That stuff there, I didn't say that. I remember Starlog back in the day. Poster, prints, book, set with 4K, Blu-ray, extras, soundtrack, and a box to house them in. So all good. All good okay, so there we go. As editions go, really nice set. I can't fault what you get within. Now, I have watched the film, obviously the 4K version, and it's a lovely, lovely looking movie. Films from this sort of era, when they are given a 4K transfer, do benefit from it more so than newer films, I will say. It's not heavily DNR'd or anything like that. There isn't no grain so much to speak of. It's a very small amount, but like I said, the DNR isn't so heavy that people look waxy or anything like that, and the film sounds fantastic. So yeah, a really good transfer from Studiocanal on that film. Now the film itself, yes, I've sat down and I've watched it this evening as I'm recording this. So to give you my thoughts, so like I said, this film here is a film that for me I watched 30 odd years ago when it first came out. The film was released in 1988 here in the UK. We got it on June the 23rd of 1989, so I would have seen it around that era, and the film didn't really do anything for me. The film was made on a $4 million budget, and worldwide took 13 million. It runs for 94 minutes. The film stars Roddy Piper as Nader, Keith David as Frank, and Meg Foster as Holly. Now, Meg Foster, you may have seen in other stuff. She's got very unique eyes. She was Evil Lynn in The Masters of the Universe. Keith David is a very famous actor himself in his own right, also appearing in John Carpenter's The Thing. Now, this film was directed by John Carpenter, and it is based on a short story by Ray Nelson called 8 o'clock in the Morning. John Carpenter wrote the screenplay for this movie, but it is credited in the credits for the film as Frank Armitage, which is actually a pseudonym from John Carpenter, because he does so much in his films: music, production, directing. He didn't want his name to be all over the credits, so he would use pseudonyms at times, Frank Armitage being one of those. Now, this film follows the character of Nader, Roddy Piper, who's this sort of construction worker, a sort of drifter who's come in out of town looking for work, nowhere to live, this sort of a thing, and to earn a bit of money he goes on to construction sites, and he gets taken by Frank, Keith David's character, to a place where he can maybe get some food, get a bit of kip, and maybe get a warm shower. And he uncovers this plot about this little church, and inside the church they're actually preparing and making the sunglasses which are synonymous with this film. And long story short, he gets the sunglasses. He comes to realise that there's these aliens around on Earth. There's TV signals that are controlling us. We're sort of being brainwashed into control, and we're not aware of it, and all this sort of a thing. And he goes about joining this resistance and putting an end to what's going on. Now, the film itself has a whole lot of social commentary in it. You know, the sort of divide between the rich and the poor, and the rich getting richer and the poor getting poorer, and the poor being used for just essentially menial slavey tasks like what essentially we are, while the rich get richer off of our back. Only you've got the alien element in the story itself, and you've got these aliens that come from outer space, and they're sort of they've sort of taken control of the Earth in essence, and they are using the rich people and allowing them to get richer on the backs of the poor to help them along themselves. It's sort of a story. The acting within the film is, well, what you would expect. It's not fantastic. Some of the stuff from Roddy Piper is okay. Other stuff is cringeworthy. Keith David, his performance is a bit ropey in this film. It's not as good as what it can be or what he has given us in other films that he's been in the past. As for the film itself, the film is a lot of fun. I mean, you know, the memories I have of this film, you know, for a long time ago, it didn't work for me. But now, older, knowing what I know, the sort of knowledge that I have, and seeing into the film and what the thematically the film means, and what thematically what the film is giving us and telling us, it makes it far more interesting for me as a viewer. Like I said, production value is pretty good, but it isn't an overly expensive film. As John Carpenter films go, it sort of feels somewhat cheaper than a lot of others, I will say. But yeah, it's a decent sort of sci-fi thriller with these undertones of messaging of the sort of era and what goes on. Yeah, so I enjoyed the film. I like the fact it ends with a sort of on this sort of ambiguity kind of an ending. You know, spoilers here. Obviously, Keith David's character seemingly gets killed, although it is off camera. And Roddy Piper's character is left laying on the floor, having been shot up. Now, I don't know if this was sort of left like that to potentially be left open for a potential sequel, because it could go that way. There is the possibility both characters could have survived what went on. But, you know, the film ends at a point where Roddy Piper's characters, Nada and Frank, they've achieved what they needed to achieve to spread the word of these aliens having infiltrated the Earth. So there's obviously a much larger scale story that could have come afterwards. So the story in its narrative is strong in that sense, in that it leaves you wanting more. It leaves you wanting to know what comes next, and as a viewer you can sort of make your mind up on that sort of a thing. So yeah, you know, a fun film, a film that I'd watch again sometime soon. I wouldn't rank it as one of my favourite Carpenter films, but it's certainly a lot of fun. And what more can I say? So this is AJ. Thank you for watching. Finally watched They Live Again after 30 odd years. Amazing, but there we go. Good stuff, and I shall see you all on the next one inevitably. Take care, and let me know down below. Use the comment section, talk about this film, let me know your thoughts on it. Did the 4K transfer on this work for you? Is this a film you enjoy? Is it a film you don't enjoy? Let's have a nice friendly discussion, and I shall see you all on the next one. Goodbye.